Nelson Mandela's 10 Rules for Success. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share something truly extraordinary with you, the 10 fundamental rules for success that shaped one of history's most remarkable leaders, Nelson Mandela. These aren't just abstract principles. They're battle-tested wisdom forged through decades of struggle, imprisonment, and ultimately, triumph. I've studied Mandela's life extensively, and what strikes me most is how these rules transformed not just his own destiny, but the destiny of an entire nation. So grab a notebook, settle in, and let me take you on a journey through the mind of a man who changed the world. Rule number 1. Demand respect. The foundation of Mandela. Success began with his unwavering demand for respect, not just for himself, but for every human being regardless of their race or background. When Mandela walked into the University of Fort Hare, one of Africa's premier institutions, he wasn't just seeking an education, he was claiming his rightful place in a world that told him he didn't belong. Later, at the University of Witwatersrand, where he studied law, he encountered a legal system designed to exclude people like him, yet he mastered it completely. This wasn't about arrogance, it was about recognizing his inherent worth and refusing to accept anything less than dignified treatment. Mandela understood that respect isn't given freely. It must be earned through consistency, integrity, and an unshakable belief in your own value. Rule number 2. Prove them wrong. Throughout his life, Mandela faced countless people who said he couldn't achieve his goals, that change was impossible, that the apartheid system was too entrenched to overcome. Instead of arguing with these doubters, he chose a more powerful response. He proved them wrong through his actions. When he joined the African National Congress and began organizing resistance against colonial policies, critics said he was naive, that peaceful protest would never work against such an oppressive system. Rather than waste energy on debates, Mandela channeled his focus into building a movement that would eventually transform South Africa. I've observed that the most successful people don't spend time convincing skeptics with words. They let their results speak for themselves. Mandela's approach teaches us that when facing opposition, the most effective response is sustained, purposeful action that gradually dismantles every argument against your vision. Rule number 3. Use your time wisely. Perhaps no rule is more powerfully illustrated than this one when we consider Mandela's 27 years in prison. While many would see imprisonment as lost time, Mandela transformed those decades into his greatest period of personal development and strategic planning. He learned Afrikaans, the language of his oppressors, because he understood that effective communication requires speaking in terms your audience can understand. He studied his guards, learning about their families, their fears, their hopes, gradually humanizing himself in their eyes. He established a routine of physical exercise, intellectual study, and emotional discipline that kept his mind sharp and his spirit unbroken. During these years, he also influenced by Marxist ideology and secretly joined the South African Communist Party, not out of blind allegiance, but because he recognized the value of understanding different political frameworks for achieving social change. Every moment was deliberately invested in becoming the leader his people would need when freedom finally came. And how we use it during our darkest moments often determines whether we emerge stronger or broken. Rule number 4. Don't worry about labels. The world tried to define Mandela with countless labels: terrorist, communist, radical, prisoner, troublemaker. Lesser individuals might have been paralyzed by these characterizations, spending precious energy trying to control their public image. Mandela took a different approach entirely. He focused on his mission rather than his reputation, understanding that labels are often tools used by others to limit your potential. When he was convicted in 1962 for conspiracy to overthrow the state and sentenced to life imprisonment, the world watched as he was branded a criminal by the apartheid government. He understood that when you're pursuing meaningful change, controversial labels are inevitable, and worrying about them only distracts you from your purpose. This principle applies to anyone trying to make a significant impact. You must be willing to be misunderstood, mischaracterized, and criticized while you stay focused on your true objectives. Rule number 5. Be humble. Despite becoming one of the world's most celebrated leaders, Mandela maintained a humility that set him apart from other political figures. His 27 years in prison taught him profound lessons about the importance of listening, learning, and acknowledging that even the most passionate convictions must be tempered with wisdom and compassion. He understood that true strength comes not from dominating others, but from lifting them up. Instead, he chose reconciliation, recognizing that healing a nation required setting aside personal grievances for the greater good. This humility wasn't weakness. It was the highest form of strength, the kind that transforms enemies into allies and builds lasting peace. I've learned that humility creates space for growth, for learning from mistakes, and for building the kinds of relationships that make extraordinary achievements possible. Rule number 6. Have heroes. Mandela drew inspiration from a diverse array of heroes throughout his life, understanding that learning from others' experiences accelerates your own growth. He studied the lives of great leaders across cultures and centuries, from African liberation leaders to international statesmen, from spiritual teachers to revolutionary strategists. This wasn't mere academic interest. He actively applied their lessons to his own circumstances, adapting their strategies to fit his unique challenges. He understood that no one achieves greatness in isolation, and that wisdom can be found in the most unexpected places. Having heroes also kept him connected to ideals larger than himself, providing motivation during the darkest moments of his imprisonment. The key insight here is that heroes serve as both inspiration and instruction, showing us what's possible while teaching us practical methods for achieving our own goals. When Mandela participated in the negotiations to abolish apartheid and establish multiracial elections in 1994, he demonstrated the courage to take a stand for principles that went beyond personal benefit. This wasn't his first stand. Throughout his life, he consistently chose difficult but necessary positions, even when they cost him dearly. It means accepting that some people will disagree with you, that you might face opposition, criticism, and even persecution for your beliefs. But Mandela understood that without people willing to take stands for justice and human dignity, progress becomes impossible. The stands we take define who we are and what we contribute to the world, and they often require us to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term transformation. Rule number 8. Manage your emotions. Perhaps no rule was more crucial to Mandela's success than his ability to manage his emotions effectively. Imagine spending 27 years in prison, separated from your family, watching your people suffer, knowing that each day of your imprisonment meant continued oppression for millions. Instead, Mandela developed extraordinary emotional discipline that allowed him to emerge from prison not as a broken or vengeful man, but as a leader capable of uniting a divided nation. When he became the first black chief executive of South Africa, he channeled his emotions into constructive action rather than destructive revenge. This emotional mastery wasn't innate. It was developed through conscious practice, through choosing forgiveness over anger, hope over despair. Rule number 9. Be willing to die for your cause. This might seem like an extreme principle, but Mandela understood that transformational change often requires the ultimate commitment. Being willing to die for your cause doesn't necessarily mean seeking martyrdom. It means caring so deeply about something that you're prepared to sacrifice everything for it. When you're no longer controlled by the fear of loss, including the loss of your own life, you become capable of actions that seem impossible to others. Mandela demonstrated this willingness repeatedly, from his early activism through his imprisonment and beyond. This principle also serves as a filter for determining what truly matters to you. If you're not willing to make significant sacrifices for something, perhaps it's not worthy of your dedication. Rule number 10. Speak with conviction. The final rule brings together all the others, speaking with conviction that comes from deep personal experience and unwavering commitment to your principles. When Mandela spoke, whether to a small group or to the world, his words carried the weight of someone who had lived every principle he advocated. His conviction wasn't based on theory or rhetoric, but on decades of testing these ideas under the most challenging circumstances imaginable. He served as Secretary General of the Non-Aligned Movement from 1998 to 1999, using his platform to advocate for peace and justice globally. The over 250 honors he received, including the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize, recognized not just his achievements, but the authenticity and power of his convictions. Conclusion and call to action. These 10 rules from Nelson Mandela's life offer us a roadmap for creating meaningful change in our own lives and communities. They remind us that success isn't just about personal achievement. It's about using our talents and opportunities to make the world better for everyone. Mandela's legacy shows us that one person, armed with clear principles and unwavering commitment, can indeed change the world. Now here's my challenge for you. Choose one of these 10 rules that resonates most strongly with you right now. Document your experience. Notice how it changes your interactions and outcomes, and share your insights in the comments below. Together, we can carry forward Mandela's legacy by embodying these principles in our daily lives and inspiring others to do the same. Thank you for watching, and remember, the change you want to see in the world begins with the choices you make today.